Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here, and today I'm back on some Destiny 2, and I wanted to talk about how I got to 600 light so fast. This is a question that I've gotten many times. In fact, as I was making videos and my light was going up and up and up, I kept being asked, how are you 570? How are you 580? How are you 590? People wanted to know, and now that I'm 600, I feel comfortable that I can make a video and share some of my secrets, the things that I did to be able to reach this light level. Now, I did no exploits or glitches to do this. It's nothing like that. I didn't do any prime engram farming like a lot of people did. I didn't do that. I actually just played and I was able to actually achieve this. And by the way, when I actually got 600 light level, I haven't even beaten Riven yet. I did the other portions of the raid all the way up to the vault. I believe I did the vault 3 times. That was it. That's all I did. So if you can get into a raid group and do at least the first 3 sections, that will greatly benefit you, because I do believe that it did help. But overall, it's not completely necessary to get high light. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what I consider to be low light activities and high light activities. And you also have your medium light activities, because there are soft caps. You have a soft cap at 520, 540, 560, and 580. So you need to know what is what, and then you need to take advantage of that. So the first thing that is low light is pretty much anything that is a daily powerful gear. All that stuff, to me, is low light. So if you are not 520, you can do it. You're going to get a nice boost. But once you're 520, it's only ever going to drop 1 light above your overall light. That can sometimes really benefit you, and sometimes it will not benefit you at all. At least not really. So you always have to keep these things in mind. So I'm going to quickly list all the low light activities. Like I said, anything that's daily is low light. The daily heroic story missions are low light. The Vanguard strikes are low light. And I'm not talking about just the dailies. I'm talking about in general the weeklies for those activities are low light. Gambit is low light. Crucible is low light. Of course, if you are talking about dailies, the heroic adventure is low light. The Flashpoint, if it's wherever it is, I think it was on IO this week. This is the 3rd week, and I was able to get 600 light on Tuesday or Wednesday of the 3rd week. So that was pretty crazy. But like I said, the Flashpoint is low light. Pretty much everything besides the medium light stuff would be things like the Nightfall. Both of the activities, 100,000 score. Just completing it. It's 540. That is where the soft cap will kick in. So if you're 520 or 530, you will benefit from doing the Nightfall pretty greatly. So you do want to do that at that point. And same with the Spider Bounty. That one is 540. So that's another one that you can do. And in fact, if you are in the Dreaming City, I believe the missions are 530. So if you do like the weekly mission, I think that's like 530. So pretty much you have to go off of the light level of the activity to kind of tell. If the light level is 540, then up to 540, it can benefit you a lot. Or once you're 540, it's only ever going to drop you stuff that is 1 light ahead of your light. So you always have to keep that in mind. So you might be wondering, well, how does that help? And I guess I'm not really done because I haven't talked about highlight stuff yet. But highlight would be things like Dreaming City. This will go like up to 560. The raid, of course, is highlight. In fact, the raid can benefit you all the way, I believe, up to 580. Once you're 580, you will not benefit unless you are doing the vault and are Riven. Then you can still benefit. You can get a nice boost from those activities. But if you're doing like the first 3 encounters, you're only going to get 1 light increase if you are 580. So keep that in mind as well. But there are a lot of things you can do, but you just have to recognize what's what. So you might be wondering, like, how can you take advantage of this? Well, when you start out for the week, you want to take a look at your light level. And let's just say you're 530. That's the light I'm going to say. So you are 530, and you look at all your weapons, and then you look at all your armor. Now, let's say that you are very balanced out, meaning that your helmet is 531, your gauntlets are 529, your chest piece is 530, your boots are 532. You get the idea. Same with the weapons. The weapons are very balanced, very close. If that is the case, then you need to start with highlight activities first. Things that are not in your soft cap range. So if you were to go and do your weekly Vanguard strikes and your daily stuff, like the Heroic Adventure or whatever it might be, you will really not benefit because your drops are going to start dropping at 531, which if you're balanced out, it might give you one light increase. It could, but maybe it doesn't, because maybe you'll get gauntlets or something, and you got the gauntlets from a Prime Engram, and they are 532 gauntlets, and you just got a 531 pair of gauntlets. That's not going to help you. So start with things that are high light, meaning things like, I'm going to go and do the Dreaming City stuff because I know that I can do that. I have a group of friends who are willing to maybe help me a little bit. That always helps. You know, if you don't have any friends, that can be a bummer. But there are a lot of things you can do in the Dreaming City, and that can definitely help you. I'm going to go do the Nightfall. I'm going to go do Spider's Bounty first, and these things are going to help me level up faster. The goal, of course, is to try to get as much light as quickly as possible. So let's say that once you're done with the Dreaming City stuff, you're done with the Nightfall, all that, you have went up 5 or 7 light levels overall. So now that you've done that, because your weapons went up, some of your armors went up, now you look at your armor again, and let's say my light was 537. I got pretty lucky, and I got 7 light levels out of that. It might be even higher, to be quite honest, if you're 530. It could be like 10 or 11. But let's just say it was 7. Well, now I look at those gauntlets, and I say, oh, I still have 532 gauntlets. Now, if I can get a drop, and it's 538, then that's going to benefit me, because that's actually going to be 6 light levels. And that can actually level me up again to 538, and then my drops are 539. You get the idea here. So that is when you would want to then go and do your low light stuff, like your Vanguard Strikes, your daily heroic missions, your Crucible games, your Gamut games, things like that, your Flashpoint, because now you are trying to balance yourself out again if possible. Now that is, of course, on your first character of the week. So you do want to do multiples if you have them. Now, not everyone does, and if you don't, then you're going to always level up a lot slower. So if you have, let's say, a Titan, a Warlock, and a Hunter, and you started on your Titan because your Titan was the highest light overall, and then you did what I said, you started with some highlight activities first, you got some increase to your overall light level, and then you did your low light stuff and you balanced yourself out. Maybe you got some primes along the way, and now you've gotten some really high weapons. Before you know it, your weapons are where they might have started at 530. Now your weapons are 545 or 542 or something like that. So now they're much, much higher. So when you actually give those weapons to your Hunter, let's say your Hunter was your second highest light starting that week. So now you're going to move on to the Hunter. You give the Hunter all those weapons, and now the Hunter's light has automatically went up 5 or 6 or 7 light. And by doing that, then you're like, okay, I'm not balanced. Now I'm going to start with the low light stuff first with the Hunter, because I need to balance out my armor. I need to get armor drops. Now, as you're doing this, you can get screwed over. Trust me, it will happen. You will get weapons and weapons and weapons, and you don't need weapons because you're on your second character. You want armor. So that will happen. It is bound to happen. But you just don't want to get really discouraged or frustrated, because you will get the armor. It will happen. You just have to keep going. And once you have balanced yourself out and you've gotten your armor up, and you really do want to try to balance yourself out as best as you can, then you go and do the highlight stuff again. You say, okay, now I am going to do the Dreaming City on my Hunter. I'm going to do that last. I'm going to save the higher light stuff for last, because my Titan started at 530. My Hunter easily got to 542 or 43 or something like that before I even done the highlight stuff. Now I do the highlight stuff and I'm getting 550 stuff because I'm saving that for last. And now I've gotten some weapons at 550. I've gotten some armor at 550. Now it's time to move on to the Warlock. So you move on to the Warlock. Now the Warlock gets an even bigger boost than the Hunter did. Now the Warlock gets like 10 or 11 or 12 light boost. So you do the same thing. You do the low light stuff first, and then you balance yourself out, and then you save all the highlight stuff. So that is really the biggest secret of all that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of, because either they don't have multiple classes to do that on, or they just don't have the time. So you do want to have some time to do this, unfortunately. If you are very limited in your time, so you can only play like 2 or 3 hours a day, this just might not work for you, because you just don't have the time to do 3 characters in 1 week. It's just something that's not going to happen. But you can still get highlight even with 2. So that is something I do want to point out. You can do 2, and you should be able to get a lot higher light with 2 than you would with 1, that's for sure. Now it's time to talk about something that I did. One of my big secrets that I took advantage of. Now, if you don't have a lot of time, I don't know if you're going to be able to take advantage of this like I was. And that is patience. And what I mean by that is, let's say that I started on my Titan. And when I started on my Titan, I was 530, and then I did everything I talked about, and then I got up to 542. But here's the big thing. My weapon was only 535, and I've done everything now. I don't have any milestones to do. So really, I have no chance of getting my weapon up. And one thing I do want to mention quickly is that when you actually go to the clan and you get the engrams, I've noticed that all the clan engrams, not the actual overall powerful gear clan engram that you will get, and by the way, that goes all the way up to 600. That scales really well, so that's another highlight activity that you can take advantage of. I just want to point that out. But the other engrams that your clan members will help you get, it seems like those are always weapons, so save those right before you swap, because if you do need a weapon really bad, you need a heavy weapon. You're like, man, I want a heavy weapon. I need that because my other weapons are 540 and my heavy weapon is 535. I got to get that up. You can go ahead and go to the clan lady, and hopefully you can get a heavy weapon, and that can benefit you. And by the way, as you're doing this, you don't need to infuse. That's something that I really rarely did. I just did not infuse that much, just because I knew that the Masterwork cores, it was stupid, and I knew it was a waste most of the time. So I don't really recommend infusing. You don't have to infuse, because the game will know your light no matter what. But let's say that I just couldn't get that drop. I couldn't get that heavy weapon. That's where patience comes in. I would say, okay, well, I guess I'm done with my Titan for today. Now, if I had Prime Engrams to get, because every single day you can get Prime Attunement, and that actually does stack. So if you haven't been playing on your Titan, then you might have like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 Prime Engrams waiting for you, and you can farm those out. Now, the way that I farmed them out was always by helping other people. I would say, I don't want to switch yet, because I know that I can still get these primes. I know that I can get my heavy weapon higher. I need that kinetic weapon or heavy weapon or energy weapon. I need that higher. So before I swap, I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to get this prime first, or as many primes as I can, to hopefully get that weapon, because that will benefit my other characters and will increase my overall light by a lot. So I would just offer help to people doing the Nightfall or just doing whatever milestone they're doing. And then I would go play with them. Now, there's other ways that you can farm Prime Engrams solo. There's plenty of videos probably out there. But I didn't do any type of exploits or glitches or anything like that to get Prime Engrams. I just played until they would drop. And sometimes it would take like hours and hours for them to drop. But a lot of times it was worth it, because guess what? I got the thing I was looking for, and that helped me. And by waiting and being patient, if I waited the next day, I could do the daily powerful gear again, and maybe that will give me what I'm looking for. That happened a lot. And you could go play Crucible, Gambit, get ranks, and if you get a rank up, at least initially, once you actually reset, it doesn't do this anymore, but initially, if you rank up, you can actually get scaled items, so that can benefit you. So by being patient, I was able to not actually start my second class or my third class, and I would try to get as many primes as I could before I would swap. And if I could get my weapons up really high, I knew that by swapping, I would be starting at a higher point, and that would definitely help out my final class, or it would really help me out for the next week, because at the end of the week, if you can, you want to try to get as high as you possibly can, pretty much. Like, you just want to get as high, because you're going to repeat the same thing. You're going to start on your highest, and hopefully you're very balanced out. And if you are, you start with the highlight activities first, then you go ahead and do all your low light activities, and then when you finally do swap, you start with the low light stuff to try to balance out. That's really been my big secret. And like I said, unfortunately, when it comes down to it, when it comes to patience, you might just not have the time to do that. But it is a good idea to spend maybe 2 days on every character if you can. That way you can take advantage of the powerful gear every day. You can take advantage of the Prime Engrams. And it's a bummer, and sometimes the Prime Engrams don't want to drop. You can always use fire team medallions, and anyone that I would ever help, I would say, hey, do you have fire team medallion on? Can you put one on for me? Because, hey, I'm helping you, but I kind of want to get a prime engram, so I appreciate if you put on some fire team medallions. And that can help actually get them to drop, so that's something. But that was really my biggest secret, and of course, when the Shattered Throne quest finally did come out, that was the biggest thing, just because I got like some crazy highlight off of doing that. That was amazing. So, like I said, that was really my secret, and that's the system that you really want to take advantage of. At least that was my system, and it works very well. Now, once again, I will repeat myself many times, but if you don't have time or if you don't have more than one character, this will really not work for you. You're going to have a lot harder time leveling up. But if you do have 2 characters or 3 characters, it can definitely help you out a lot. So that's been my biggest secret, and I wanted to go ahead and share that with you. Alrighty, well that's going to do it for the video. So I really hope that you have enjoyed it and that this has helped. And if it has, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.